Welcome to day 2 of the virtual Great American Trucking Show with your host, Kevin Rutherford.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It is Friday, August 28th. It is the virtual GATS show. We've got a lot lined up for today, and we're going to jump right back into it. I do want to welcome back to the show Craig Harper from JB Hunt. Craig, welcome back.
Yeah, great to be back, Kevin. Listened to your show yesterday. Well, actually, I listened to it this morning on the replay, but you had quite a panel, so you're doing a great job.
Hey, speaking of which, I wasn't going to jump right into it, but since you brought it up, you know, we absolutely, I loved that panel. I thought it was great information, especially with, you know, things being so crazy right now. And I think we're going to continue that. I think maybe like once a month we might do a business roundtable. I'll kind of put you on the spot. I'd love to have you join us for that once or twice, or who knows.
I'd love to. You know, it was a great discussion. You had some different points of view on there. I think we've all listened to Noel, not talking about his age. He's the one that brought it up. He's been in the business since, 68 or something?
Yeah, I think I was thinking when he was doing this, I was chewing on crayons in kindergarten. And I thought I've been around a little while. Yeah.
You and me both. But seriously, it was interesting because the whole viewpoint about, one of the panelists said, they didn't think we'd ever go back to a recession. And Noel admitted he's been projecting one for some time. It reminds me of this guy at a football game when the ref was calling all these penalties and the guy shouted out, "Keep calling them, ref, sooner or later you get one right." But seriously, Noel's a very bright guy. It's just these are, you get tired of hearing these terms like unprecedented, unusual.
Yeah, I know.
But they are, and I mean we've never seen anything like this, and seeing how quick this economy has bounced back caught us all flat-footed, because when you look back, we got that surge with all the essential goods, moving in March, and then everything fell so flat in April as a country. But I can talk about what happened here specifically is much different. Yeah. But and then all of a sudden it came back so strong, but. We were fortunate just because we've got such a diverse mix of customers. And we had some customers that did literally shut down and did slow down, but we had other customers that were surging even when there were no cars on the road. The trucks were on the road because moving the goods and, all the big box retailers and all. So we were fortunate there. We had no layoffs. We were able to move people from one job to another, so that was fantastic. But we were a little surprised in an area that the drivers they came to work and did the job, and the mechanics, all these people staying and working from home, but not the drivers and mechanics. They kept coming to work, and certain operators out in the field that need to be there. So our industry really stepped up and makes you proud to be part of it.
There's absolutely, and there's so many things I want to talk to you about, and I want to kind of put them in order here, make some sense out of it. And you just mentioned something about the drivers, the mechanics coming to work. And I mentioned this a little bit yesterday with the panel, but we really didn't have time to dig into it. I've seen, I do a ton of reading. I mean, I spend about 3 hours every morning going through trucking industry news, business news, health news, all kinds of things. And I've only seen one article really about drivers and COVID-19, and it wasn't really scientific. It was kind of a polling of carriers, how many drivers have you lost and how many are sick or how many cases. Yeah. And I was shocked at how few. And I didn't know, is it because we don't have good reporting, nobody's really trying to gather that number, or is that the case? And the reason at the very beginning of this, and I was studying this really early, when you looked at the risk factors, we identified pretty early. Obesity, what we call metabolic syndrome, which is a group of things like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, all combined. Those numbers in trucking are horrendous. Almost double the national statistics, which are horrendous themselves. So I started looking at this saying, wait a minute, the drivers have all the risk factors. They are the ones still out here working every day, and they are exposed all over the country. They're into hot spots. They're dealing with people every day, and I was really worried we were going to see a real outbreak in truck drivers, and I'm just not seeing it. Are the numbers just not available? I mean, how's it affected you guys as a fleet?
Yeah, no, the numbers are out there, and actually one of your co-hosts, Casey, had people last night talking about it, and that the numbers are low, and it's because that the drivers, they're by themselves in the cab for the most part. Obviously, you have some training going on some places and all, but for the most part, they're by themselves in the cab, and the drivers are smart. They know this is their profession, and they're going to take all the precautions they can. And so we've really got on this early and really talked about our main concern being the health and well-being of our employees, and really pushed hard to get the PPE out as quick as we can. And I'll tell you, it's hard to come by at first.
I'll bet.
But yeah, but I was going out and talking to the drivers and seeing how they were dealing with it, and I mean, they did all the things that you would hear about, the washing your heads, keeping the social distance, and we worked hard to get our electronic bill of lading out there to the customers quick to cut down on some of the passing the documents and all that. But now we're learning more and more about this all the time too, and what you're hearing is that it's really that transmission by being close to someone, the airborne, the particles, and with drivers keeping the distance and all. We've had very low percentage of drivers and employees across the board. Now, obviously, a lot of the office employees work from home.
Yeah.
But so I think getting on top of the PPE and communicating to the drivers, we have videos going out, emails going out to drivers, or the OBC messages going out, and keeping them alert as far as what we're hearing and what you should do. So, and I've really been proud of the industry, and the call-outs were very few as far as people not showing up.
Yeah.
That was a pleasant surprise for the whole industry.
You listen to my show. I don't shy away from controversial topics, and I'm pretty opinionated. When I hear this and when I've been watching this, it seems to me like the trucking industry is the best example of why we should have this economy open as much as possible and be working. Here's a group that had all the risk factors. They're out there all over the place interacting with people, but by putting those measures in place, they've stayed at work, they've kept the country running, and they have very low numbers. We should be like the example of how to get the economy back open.
Yeah, I'm so proud of them continuing to work through this, and use the good hygiene, keep the distance, and take care of themselves, and others. And it's been great, because as I was telling our drivers, and I'll say this to all the drivers out there listening, that you really did more than just deliver the goods to the stores that people were counting on, the food, the water, the medicine, and yes, the toilet paper, but. Yeah. What they really delivered was hope that this country is going to get going again, because people forget, for a while it looked pretty grim. When you get out you go through Dallas or Atlanta and never have to touch your brakes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty scary feeling, really, when you do that. So, but we've come back through that. The country is opening up. I mean, look at the freight demand right now. I mean, it's incredible, and that's where I say we got caught a little flat-footed.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in our driver hiring group, we had, let's say, well, I'll just say the number. We had like 70 people that, because of our demand was lowered so much, we didn't need those 70 people. And we said, we got to do something here, because we believe we'll need these people in the future. And what we did is we put those people in other parts of the company and did other tasks that we needed to do, and that they helped out significantly. Tasks that were, some of it was the nice to do's, things that you'd always had on the list, but you didn't have to do it, but we got things cleaned up. But where we were wrong was we brought those 70 people back hiring drivers, but we need about that many more.
Well, you know what? We're coming up on a break. There's so much I want to talk to you about, so we're going to carry you through the break. When we come back, we'll get to more of this. All right, welcome back. We're going to get right back to the phones. I've got Craig Harper with me from JB Hunt. So, Craig, I just want to comment on something you said a little earlier, and then I've got some other things. You had those 70 people. You certainly didn't want to let them go because you kind of had an idea of what was coming. You moved them around in different parts of the country or company. Don't you find that that's always kind of a good thing anyway? People move around, get to see all kinds of other things going on. I think it helps them understand the operation better.
Absolutely, and what it does too, they understand operations, and also they get to share things that they know about their area. And oh, by the way, we lost 3 of them because they got picked up by those other departments they were in. And we said, hold on a second, we don't need to, we love to see people getting promoted and move around, but we said, okay, we are going to have these people back hiring drivers, and where we missed it is our demand is so great. And I'm sure we're not the only ones in this situation. I mean, our need literally went up by a factor of 4 to 5 times, and our turnover was down. This is the lowest turnover we have ever had in the history of the company. And a big part of that is 90% of all our jobs are local and regional, with 54% of them where drivers get home every night. So we got great jobs, and here's the deal. What I'd say to all drivers, and this just isn't for JB Hunt, this is for, there's a lot of good companies out there. If you're not satisfied where you are right now, this is the time to make a move, because there are great companies out there, and I think we are one of those great companies that need drivers right now. We cannot pick up all the freight that people want to tender us right now. So we need company drivers, we need carriers, and we need contractors. I was just talking to Nick Hobbs, he's the president of our dedicated group, and he could take a lot more contractors right now, even straight trucks delivering. We deliver a lot of exercise equipment.
Right.
I'm not going to say the brand, but I've got one of them myself, one of those bicycles. But, exercise equipment, furniture, and appliances. So right now, drivers are in demand, and your panel was talking about that yesterday. This is the time to be out there running and making some money.
Yeah, that brings up so many things I want to talk about. I've said forever, because I had this advantage when I owned my trucks. My operation, I got drivers home every night. They didn't work weekends. We didn't work holidays. I had zero turnover. I mean, zero. I couldn't even calculate it. I had drivers waiting for things to open up so I could hire them. So, you can pay drivers really well, but at some point I think drivers want to get home. There's a big group of drivers that maybe they've put in their time on the road and they want to spend time at home with family. And I'd love to see more of the industry shift the way JB Hunt has and create more of those jobs. I think we could keep a lot more good people in the industry if we had more of those opportunities.
Yeah, it always surprised me. You go to these conferences and everything, and people go talk about driver turnover, and I said, hey, it's not a surprise. They want the same thing that you and I want. They want to, provide a good living for their family. They want to be home with their family, and they want to be treated with respect. And then because I have some people try to take the easy way out and say, well, we hear it's not about pay. I said, look, there's a lot of things that go into it, but how can you tell somebody you respect them if you don't pay them for the job that they're doing?
Right.
So it goes hand in hand. But it's I agree with you wholeheartedly. But it's a great time to be in trucking right now, and it's quite honestly, it surprised me the demand is so strong right now, and we welcome it.
And that was one of the things I want to talk to you about, because from where I sit, I focus almost exclusively on the spot market. I mean, that's my tribe. That's who we work with. That's who we help. The spot market, we live and die by the spot market, on the small end of the industry. And it sounds to me like you're saying, yeah, it's the spot market, but it's just freight in general. There's just demand
freight
everywhere.
In general. Yeah, you're right. We have both. We have contracted rates and spot markets, and some customers want to sign up all the lanes, get the pricing fixed so they can budget, and some of them want to play in the spot market and float with it. And hey, we're fine either way. We want the load flowing through our system with our carriers. and then with our drivers. But you're right. But you can, you hear all the reports, and you had the guest on, and the different reports that are out there about the loads being offered and the trucks available, and it's at astronomical numbers right now. This is an industry issue going on, and it's a good one. We've been on this side, both sides of this thing. We've been where we needed a lot more drivers and had pressure on that, and we've been to where we didn't need as many drivers. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot more fun, and it's better for our industry when all your guests are saying, yes, we could use more drivers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, I've been kind of the pessimist through this, which is really unusual for me. I'm a pretty optimistic guy. I think there's always something to look forward to and work on. But I'm also a numbers guy, and I've been so confused, and I've spent lots of time talking with Noel, and I think him and I agree. And then we get a bombshell dropped on us yesterday from somebody I really respect, Todd Amon. I've thought about almost nothing else since. Is that possible, what he's talking about? It's never happened. Yeah. So it's just, and Todd doesn't say things like that lightly. He's he'll step out and make bold claims, but not lightly. He's done a lot of research and thinking. Yeah. So I'm wondering, we look at this demand for freight, and it's insane, things we've never seen. And then I look at all the other numbers, we normally look at to see where the economy's going, and nothing matches up. What do you think about that?
I'm right there with you, because I've talked about this to my daughter and my son and my wife, and saying it doesn't add up. But then I spoke to one of my colleagues who I have a great amount of respect for, Kevin Knight. And sometimes somebody hits you something, you say, I think he's exactly right. And what he was talking about, think of all the dollars that were going into entertainment. Okay, I'm talking about people, whether they're saving up and they're taking the Alaskan cruise trip, or whether they're taking a plane flight somewhere going on vacation. Think of all the cities in America that have direct flights overseas. And think of all that all of a sudden just stopping.
Yeah.
Okay. And think about all these people working from home, and people joke about the honey-do list. What happened to the honey-do list? Well, they went berserk, right? So now these people are going out and they're buying the lumber to build the new deck. Right. Or they're saying, gosh, we're not taking that expensive vacation trip, so let's buy another flat screen TV, or let's replace the car, and the car, they were making all kinds of deals, right? Trying to get people to buy cars. Yeah. So in entertainment dollars, I'm not knocking entertainment. I like going to the movie theater. I stream it more than go there now. Yeah. But anyway, but those dollars, they didn't get as much freight, right? I mean,
right.
Okay, but all those dollars, people had it to spend, and then you throw into what the government was paying out, right? Those checks. Yeah. You've seen it, Kevin, before when a good tax refund year, and they talk about how freight went up because of the tax refund. Well, what about these payments that have been going on for months and months? So I think that's huge dollars that got into goods that we haul each and every day as an industry.
Yeah, so it really seems to be more of a shifting economy than a really changing economy. There's still plenty of dollars out there, and it's moving towards more hard goods instead of services, which is great for us.
Exactly. I mean, and so to me, that's what makes sense. And so, but as my grandmother said, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm just glad we got the freight. And some people don't know what that saying means. I know we're short on time, but sometime we'll have to be sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to, and this is the reason I want to get you back. I'd love to get you on that panel. I think you will make a great addition to it. So. I said it yesterday, I say it a lot. I don't like to make predictions because I just don't like to be wrong. I'm the guy that people want to ask a question and get a good answer from, so I don't like to be wrong. But I also want to keep people prepared for what's coming. I feel like it's part of what I do here. And this is the one time where I absolutely hope I'm just wrong. I hope I've been wrong for the last 2 years, because I was saying this before all this other stuff happened, and I really hope this time I'm just wrong.
Well, here's something that I'll tell all the listeners. It's a good time out there. So get out there,
Yeah.
be careful for yourself, for the motoring public, and then make that money and put some back, okay? Because there's something Mr. Hunt told me years ago that is so true. He said you'll never have any money until you can learn to live without the things that you can afford. And I said, Mr. Hunt, you meant can't afford. He said, no, can, because they're going to tell you you can buy that new car, you can buy that big TV, you can buy this, and at the end of the month you bought it all and you have nothing left over. He said, you got to learn to live without the things that you can afford and put some money back.
Can't afford. What a great, just play on words there that really makes a tremendous amount of sense. So, Craig, thanks so much. I wish we could talk for a couple hours, but schedule's full today. But I want to reach out and talk to you and get you on one of these panels.
Well, we appreciate what all you do, and we're so thankful for SiriusXM.